what I'm going to quickly share with you would be in context of rounding off numbers, which is important, and in scientific parlance we do that very often, and there are a certain bunch of prescriptions for that. We will strictly adhere to those prescriptions. So now, what are the rules? Rule number 1: if the digit to be dropped is less than 5, then the preceding digit is left unchanged. So for example, 5.64. Now if I want to drop 4, right? See, this is less than 5. I want to drop a number less than 5. Then the number prior to this, the digit prior to this, will be left unchanged. So 5.64 could be approximated to 5.6 in rounding off, right? If 4 is dropped, 4 being less than 5, the number preceding that, the digit preceding that, will remain unchanged. Look at 3.93. I want to drop 3. 3 is less than 5. If 3 is less than 5, then the number preceding that will remain unchanged. Yes or no, right? That's rule number 1. Let's look at rule number 2. So this is rule number 1. Let's look at rule number 2. If the digit to be dropped is more than 5, then the preceding digit is raised by 1. Right? Now 4.86. I want to drop 6. 6 is more than 5. 6 is more than 5. And if 6 is more than 5, then the number preceding that would be raised by 1. So this will become 4.9. In 18.68, I'm going to drop 8. So now 8 is more than 5. The number preceding 8 is 6. The number preceding 8 is 6, and it would be raised by 1. It will become 18.7, right? So that's rule number 2. Let's look at rule number 3. If the digit dropped is 5 followed by digits other than 0. If the digit dropped is 5 followed by digits other than 0, then the preceding digit is raised by 1. Then the preceding digit is raised by 1. Let's look at this. So 14.8451. 14.8451. Now what I do is, I want to drop this. Right? It's 5 followed by digits other than 0. It's 5 followed by 1. So these are digits other than 0. So if I have to drop this, I will raise this 4 by 1. It will become 14.85. Then look at this, 6.756. I want to drop 5, 6. So it's 5 followed by digits that are other than 0. 5 followed by digits other than 0. So if I have to drop this, I will raise this by 1. This will become 6.8, right? So that's rule number 3. Look at rule number 4. If the digit to be dropped is 5, if the digit to be dropped is 5 or 5 followed by zeros, or 5 followed by zeros, then the preceding digit is left unchanged if it is even. Now check this out. 6.450, right? It's 5 or 5 followed by a certain number of zeros. 5 or 5 followed by a certain number of zeros. So if I want to drop this, 5 and 5 followed by a certain number of zeros. Now the number preceding this is an even number, and it will remain the same. So the approximation would be 6.4. So if I have to drop 5, 0, let me look at the digit just prior to 5. It's an even number, it's an even digit, and I will retain that. It will be 6.4. Look at 5.250. Look at 5.250. So there is 5 followed by a certain number of zeros. If I have to drop this, look at the digit prior to 5. It's 2. It's 2. And I will retain this. It's going to be 5.2, right? So that's the next rule. And let's look at the last of this rounding off principles. If the digit to be dropped is 5 or 5 followed by zeros, if the digit to be dropped is 5 or 5 followed by zeros, then the preceding digit is raised by 1 if it is odd. If it is odd. Look at this, 8.350. I want to drop 50. So the number just preceding this is 3, which is odd. And this time I'm going to raise it by 1. It will become 8.4 if it is odd. We've discussed the case when this was even. It will remain unchanged. Right? So if it was 4, it was 450, then it will remain the same. Right? But since 3 is odd, it will be raised by 1. That's 8.4. Then there is 14.150. 14.150. So then if I have to drop 5 followed by zeros, look at the digit prior to this. That's 1, which is odd. Raise it by 1. It will become 14.2. Yes or no? Right? So these are rounding off principles which you might want to take cognizance of. They will help you significantly, and it's important to have understood all of this. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.